Good morning. It is actually just barely morning right now. Late start, long story. Anyway, hello. Welcome to Web of Stories. My name is Melinda and I'm here with my weekly wrap up. So it is December. It's the end of the week. So just so you know, I was actually thinking I might include like my November wrap up in this video, but it's going to be long. So I decided just to do it. I'll have it next week. I'll have my November wrap up and my November book haul. But yeah, it was a week. We still have not decorated, but our plan is to do it tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. My husband had the shingle shot today, so we'll see how he feels tomorrow. When I got the shingle shot, I was not good the next day. So we'll see. And tomorrow, my daughter and I are going to go out with my bookish best friend and have holiday tea. My daughter is a substitute because my other friend, the one who was in the hospital, is not feeling up to coming. So my daughter said that she will go for her. My daughter's been actually really reluctant to go to any kind of tea. This place where we go have our teas has like every July, and I think I've posted about it, they have a Harry Potter tea, and my daughter loves Harry Potter. So I said, would you like to come? And she's like, no. So I've asked her at other times, would you like to come? No. And so this time when I said, well, you might have to come because my friend might not be able to make it. And she's like, okay, I guess I'll go for her. So I will be introducing my daughter to the world of high tea tomorrow. What else? So yeah, we're getting into the Christmas season. I'm really excited to get into my holiday reading. I have not, well, other than, I'll get to it. Other than one book, I haven't actually started. I've read one book, which if you've seen my holiday video, I already talked about it. So, you know, it's this book. I read that one, but the rest of my holiday reading and my Remember December stuff, it's to come. In fact, I'm starting 2 of them today. 2 of my Remember Decembers today. So yeah, other news. Oh, fun. I get to start physical therapy next week. I haven't mentioned it on this channel, but I have been dealing with some pretty awful pain. I don't know what I did, but I totally have jacked up one of my legs. And I thought it was like, I've gotten sciatica and stuff in the past. I thought it was one of those, but it's not. And I've been stretching, but I don't know exactly where the problem is. So I don't know if I'm stretching the wrong part. So I went to my doctor and they're like, okay, let's just get you into physical. First, I made sure it wasn't a hip joint or anything like that, but so I get to try physical therapy. My bookish best friend, who is a medical doctor, will be very happy to hear that because she was on my case about it over Thanksgiving. So other than that, that's like what's going on in my life. So without further ado, let's get into the reading. And of course, I'm off my screen. I always have part of it up on my screen, so I need to get to it. So last week, I finished 5 books, 2 of which were yesterday, which is kind of convenient, and I will get to that. So the first one is I finally finished the audiobook, Platonic, How the Science of Attachment Can Help You Make and Keep Friends. And this was my web prompt book for NonFiction November. It was interesting. I wish that the writer had not narrated it. It's not that she was bad. She just wasn't. I think a professional narrator probably could have done it a little bit better. There's lots of anecdotes in it, and I think they could have livened up those anecdotes a bit more. I also think, and I realize this after the fact, but the title is a little bit misleading because it talks about the science of attachment, but that's actually like one chapter out of the book. More of it is just sort of different aspects. You know, it was fine. I can't say it rocked my world. And I can't not recommend it. I mean, sure, if this interests you, give it a try. I ended up giving it, what did I give that? I gave that a B. That's fair. The next book I finished was this one that I keep talking about. I'm not going to say much about it. Gave it an A+. Look, I have one more video where I'm going to talk about this. So A+ for this one. Okay. And then, oh God. Then I finished, and this is going to be a spicy opinion. I finished Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. Once I finished it, I went on to Goodreads to log my rating. And after I did that, I kind of like went through some of the reviews, and there are like the negative reviews that are all like, it racist and blah, blah, blah. And then there were positive reviews, and a lot of these positive reviews said that the people who wrote negative reviews were racist or didn't get it or couldn't deal with the message. And a lot of them, true, that was the case. I would like to offer myself up as someone who had no problem, who had no problem with the message of this book, who actually applauds R.F. Kuang for doing this, because I think what she had to say was very important. I also didn't like this book. To be fair, a lot of it is because it fed into a pet peeve of mine. And pet peeves are very personal, so this may not bug anybody else. But I have a huge pet peeve in books. And I've never seen it in a book like this, although it does kind of make sense given what the plot is. But I've seen it in romances, no, kind of rom-com-y things more like. And I have seen it once or twice in a mystery. But it's where the plot is pushed forward by the main character or characters always making the absolute wrong decision. Even when, I mean, obviously to the reader, the correct decision is very obvious. But in this case, in Yellowface, lots of times the character knew what the right decision was too, and still just chose to make the wrong decision. I don't have a problem with the main character of June being unlikable. I have no problem with unlikable characters. But she's supposed to be a smart-ish character, and the constantly making the wrong decision just drove me absolutely nuts. I was like, oh my. I think that Kuang could have handled that differently. She could have at some point had her make the right decision, or could have had like something, I don't know, some kind of psychological reason why she couldn't make. And I think maybe she tried to do that a couple times. But yeah, it just drove me crazy. So I also felt at the end of the book, not the end, but like the last event of the book was just a lot, really off the rails. I was reading it on my e-reader. Had I been reading it in print, it would have gone across the room because I was like, no. It felt to me like Kuang had written herself into a corner and was just trying to get out of it. So on that, it was really disappointing. However, Kuang is a great writer. I mean, the writing style was really good in it. And I do applaud her for what the message she was putting out there. And it made me think of things in ways that I hadn't thought of it before. So that was great. I'm going to mark this up for her trying something new. This is a big departure from her other books. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I would be open to reading more from her in the future, depending on what it is. I only say that because she's known to be a fantasy writer, and I do sometimes have trouble with fantasy. I did read Babel. That was kind of like on the edge of what I can do with fantasy. I think the Poppy War trilogy is too far into fantasy with me, so it really does depend on what her next book is, as far as genre, for me to decide whether or not I would read it. But yeah, I'm just going to say this. She tried something, and for me, it didn't work. A lot of people love this book. If you like it, fantabulous. I do think it had a great message. I think it would be a great book club book, as long as you don't have the same pet peeve I do. I gave it a C. Sorry. There you go. And then yesterday I finished 2 books, which is really good. Because these are both for book club discussions or book discussions that I'm having this weekend. And they were both, I got them both from the library, and things happened that I didn't get them as soon as I thought I would. So I was really in a rush to finish them. But I got them finished, so I feel better. The first one this is for my library book club, and this is If I Had Your Face by Frances Cha. I'm going to tell you right now, I gave this a B. As far as my rating, I am reserving the right to change that. I say that B now because I am going to film my wrap up after this. So I might change my rating after I do my wrap up. I'm going to see how I feel about it after our book club discussion. My experience with this was it was an interesting and enjoyable read. But once I finished it, I kind of felt like I was still waiting for the story. I do feel there was one, it focuses on 4 Korean women in Seoul, young women in Seoul, single young women in Seoul. Well, no, actually 3 of them are single. I think, 3 or 4, I don't know. There's one too many. That's what I'm trying to say. One of them doesn't quite fit in. And I kind of wish that had just, that character, not that she wasn't interesting, she just didn't fit into the narrative. And I kind of wish she had just been excised and we focused on the other characters who went well together. But I am discussing this tomorrow, and I am still kind of trying to figure it out in my brain. So that rating may change. The other one I have that I finished, I have put it up because I got it through Libby, is The Bookbinder by Pip Williams. So this is for the Book Cougars read along, which is this coming Sunday. And so I read shortly before this, earlier this month, I read The Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams, which is not, these two are not exactly sequels. Like they happen in the same world. There's definitely crossover between the two. You could read one, they say you could read The Bookbinder without reading The Dictionary of Lost Words. I know, having read both now, I probably would have felt like I was missing something had I not read The Dictionary of Lost Words first. But when I read The Dictionary of Lost Words, my sort of critique of it was, there were some problems with it. I felt that the scope was too big and it kind of jumped around a bit much as far as things like that. But I was actually really affected by it at the end. And I said, I hope, the next book, which is The Bookbinder, she corrects some of those issues that I found with it. And she did. So yay, she corrected those. It was like she heard what I was saying and kind of went back in time, and there was time travel involved, and she fixed it. But I wasn't affected as much by The Bookbinder as I was by The Dictionary of Lost Words, even though I think technically The Bookbinder is a better book. I ended up giving it a B+, which is the same thing I gave The Dictionary of Lost Words, because I don't know what to do with all that. So I'm just going to give them the same rating. But I did enjoy it. It's, if you are interested in sort of like, The Bookbinder especially is focused on the World War I period in England. It's not specifically, World War I plays a bigger part in it, but it's not about World War I. And then that is part of the larger scope of The Dictionary of Lost Words. So just if you're thinking you might want to read it. And so, yeah, those are the 5 books that I finished this week. Now, as for what I'm currently reading, where did I put it? I had it. Oh, I left it over there. Give me a sec. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I was not prepared. I thought I was, and I wasn't. In print, I am trying to finish Jesus and John Wayne, How White Evangelicals Corrupted a Faith and Fractured a Nation by Kristin Dumez. This is my last nonfiction November book. It is for fraud. I can't say can't say I'm disliking it. I will say, I don't think it's exactly what I was looking for when I picked up this book, and that's fine. That happens sometimes. I am going to kind of withhold judgment on it because I'm going to have a lot to say when I finish this. So hopefully next week you'll just get an earful from me. And then on my e-reader, I have or will have 3 things going. The first one is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. This is for the FOMO book club. I've never read Shirley Jackson. This is my first Shirley Jackson. I just started it yesterday and I'm not that far into it. So I have nothing to say about it right now. And this is a holiday book I was not planning to read, and it just sort of happened. I'm reading this in the Serial Reader, which is an app where you get like chunks of books in the public domain each day, so you can just kind of read it that way. This is The Life and Times of Santa Claus by L. Frank Baum. So this is that's what it is. It's the history of Santa Claus in his own imagination. And this is the guy who imagined the world of Oz. So it's very much like that. I will say reading it now, especially the book, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, that book is painful to read as an adult. Because it's just like, especially if you're used to the movie, because the movie's like fantastic. Like that's a huge thing in my life is The Wizard of Oz, but the book is like not that great. Sorry. But this is, I think, better, but we'll see. I've been reading it for 2 days, so we'll see how it goes. It's not very long. If I keep up and read my 1 issue a day, I'll be done on December 10th. It's not long. And then after that, I might see if I can fit in maybe another Christmas novella that they have on Serial. We'll see how I'm feeling, because I kind of feel that I overbooked myself, pun intended, this month. Okay. And then today I will be starting, as part of Remember December, my reread of Villette by Charlotte Brontë. I am planning to read this throughout the month, so very slow and steady. I read this book. This is, the one to read like you've read a book, but you can't remember it. That's this one. I read this in college. no recollection of it whatsoever, other than the fact that I know it. I know I read it. And so I will be starting that today. And it's, as I said, slow and steady. So I'm just reading a little bit each day. And then on audio, I waited after I finished Platonic. I decided not to start another audiobook until December. But now I am starting as also part of Remember December, which is the prompt to read something in a different format. I am reading listening to The Mysterious Affair at Styles by by Agatha Christie, narrated by Hugh Fraser. I do know that this is the read-along book for the Missing Christie readathon. I'm not technically doing that readathon it's a great readathon, by the way. So if you are interested, please do it. Personally, I am not doing it for two reasons. One is every day is Missing Christie for me. I'm always reading Christie. I currently have, I'm not, it's in progress. I'm not going to talk my short story collections here but I have a short story Christie collection that I'm working on. So every day is Christie for me. I don't need a readathon for it, but also I don't want to encumber myself too much, and to block out a certain amount of time in December might mess me up. I kind of got burned in November by doing that. So I'm just being really careful with it. But it just is a coincidence that I chose to listen to The Mysterious Affair Styles, and that is the read along for that is the group read along for that challenge. So if you are interested, do check that out, because I'm always for people reading Agatha Christie. So yeah, that's what I have going. I'm going to do a bunch of videos today because it's the end of the month and I can wrap things up. And it's nice that the end of the month ends with my end of the week, because sometimes I have this weird carryover, but it works out perfectly this month. So as I said, next week I'll have sort of my monthly catch-up posts, my monthly wrap-up, and my haul video. And then I have other fun things coming this December. I will start the draws for my Shakespeare project. More about that. That video will come out, I think it's the 13th of December. I haven't filmed it yet. It's a Wednesday. I think I'm going to try to do, I think it's the second Wednesday each month is when I'll do that draw. So that's coming. And then I will do some more booktuber shout outs. I'll draw from my tin. I will do that this month too. So I'm not sure when that one's going to fall, but it's coming. So anyway, thank you very much. Subscribe, all that jazz. Information on my Discord. If you did not hear Discord beeping all through this video. Information to join my Discord is down below. It's just an easier way to have conversations. Plus, if you decide to join me on my Shakespeare project, we're going to have our discussions in that. And, also, I am starting a read-along next week. I should have mentioned this. Mariandria, Books and Bocadillos, and I, and other people who would like to, and this is going to be in my Discord, are doing a read-along of Lillian Boxfish Takes a Walk, starting on December 4th. So if you'd like to join us, that is in the Discord as well. So, there we go. All that jazz. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.